We have a life force. That life force, that animating force, to me is infinite awareness. It's the divine. And that's who we are. And that pure awareness is pure thought. That's what thought is. It's that same energy. So everything is thought. When you touch something, when you taste something, when you see something, when you hear something, when you smell something, that's how we define the world. That's how we know that the physical exists. Well, all that stuff is just vibration that your senses are picking up. Then they're being interpreted in your brain. They're vibrations being interpreted as thoughts. And then they're associated with memories, judgments, prejudices, habits of thought. So you're experiencing in thought, and you're judging and shaping and interpreting those vibrations according to all these other preconceived ideas and conglomerates of ideas and habits of thought that you carry around with you. So everything is a thought. Who I think I am is a thought. Who I know I am is the thought. We are, in our most basic essence, pure awareness. Timeless, formless, limitless, alive thought, using the tools of attention, intention, and guidance to narrow its own focus into specific points of view. Attention is like a variable spotlight, which allows us to focus on a particular thought as narrowly or as widely as we desire. Intention is the engine that points us in the direction of a desire and sets us in motion toward it. Guidance is the sense of how the thought makes us feel, how we're vibrating on this subject at this precise moment. If the thought evokes a sense that all's well, eagerly anticipating the journey toward the desire, positive feelings, then we're flowing with our intent. If the thought evokes a sense of doubt, fear, or apprehension, negative feelings, then we're resisting the flow. Let's make a distinction here between feelings and emotions. Feeling is how this awareness communicates. It exists as pure love, that sense of being alive. The more we're flowing with it, the better we feel. The more we resist and get cut off from it, the worse we feel. That's why nothing is more important than feeling good. Emotions, on the other hand, are the labels we give to these feelings when we misinterpret them as reactions to seemingly external circumstances. That's why they appear so baffling and often seem to control us. Our aim is to be in touch with this awareness, the sense of being alive, and to connect to what we imagine to be the outside world from this perspective. We're designed as creatures that need to incorporate habits in order to function. But all life is that way. Otherwise, we would have to relearn to brush our teeth every morning. We would have to relearn to walk. We would have to relearn to speak. So we're designed to incorporate habits. And the way we acquire habits is through repetition. Think of our minds as being divided into three distinct parts: the conscious or critical mind, the subconscious or habitual mind, and the superconscious or spiritual mind. The habitual mind reflects our dominant vibration, our attitude. It automatically attracts events, people, and circumstances into our experience through the law of attraction. That's its only job. However, this habitual mind attracts only to the extent that the limiting beliefs it holds allows it to. The critical mind discerns, chooses, explores contrast. It decides, I prefer this and not that. However, its choices are also limited by what resides in the habitual mind. By definition, the critical mind acts as a guard, a bouncer for the habitual mind, rejecting all that is too far outside its perceived limitations. The spiritual mind is the observer, who we truly are. It guides us and communicates with us through feelings. If a thought, word, or action feels good, then it's in harmony with our deeply held beliefs and desires. If it feels bad, then there's a conflict between something we desire and something we believe. Our job then is to 1. Choose what we prefer with our critical mind, 2. Listen to the spiritual mind for guidance, and 3. Impress our habitual mind with new habits of thought that expand our subconscious ideas of what's possible. To do this, we need to bypass the bouncer, the critical mind. Fortunately, we do this automatically several times a day. It's called the trance. When we drive a car, daydream, get engrossed in a book or a movie, we unintentionally enter a trance state. Our critical mind's attention is so focused on one task, it ignores everything else in our immediate experience. Even though our senses are still picking up sights and sounds and smells and touches and tastes from our surroundings, we're not conscious of them. The 20-Minute MindSpa combines the best of several cutting-edge technologies into an extremely effective tool which, 1, quickly coaxes your brain into a trance state, 2, occupies the critical mind with attention training exercises, and 3, simultaneously, directly, and repeatedly impresses the habitual mind with life-enhancing affirmations, deliberately influencing your belief system toward allowing a new and preferred life experience. When I decided that I wanted to start living deliberately, I decided, the big decision was I want to change the belief, not the desire. It's okay to desire. It's what we're here to do. It's the belief that's stopping me from manifesting the desire, and that's what the desire is there for, to make me look at this belief and change it. Because that's what all a belief is a thought that you keep thinking over and over and over again. It's a habit of thought. Like driving, learning to walk, you learn to think that way. Even though people go to war for beliefs, there's really nothing sacred about it. There's nothing immutable about it. It's just a habit of thought. It's the thought you keep thinking over and over again. And the more people think it over and over again, then it becomes an accepted truth. But it's just a habit of thought, and it can be changed. So the way I came up with the 20-Minute MindSpa was out of that desire to find a tool. And one of the tools that I came across a couple of years ago as I was doing this research was hypnosis. And I've always kind of been fascinated by hypnosis. But I've never practiced hypnosis. I've never felt like I've been hypnotized. But I've gone to some shows, one in particular in New York, where a guy that I worked very closely with was on stage and was hypnotized. And the hypnotist made him forget the number 7. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. And then, the next day when we were at work, I said, well, what did that feel like? I mean, what was it like? Because I knew he wasn't faking. I mean, I knew the guy. So he said, it's the weirdest thing. I knew it was the number 7, but when I tried to see it in my mind, I saw all the numbers written, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then when the 7 was supposed to be, there was a blank spot, and I couldn't fill it. So I recalled that experience, and I thought, there's something there. If you're trying to change your beliefs, if you're trying to change the habitual way that you think, and and think more deliberately, this might be a handy tool. And what hypnosis does is keep busy and quiet the critical mind, so that you could talk directly to the subconscious mind. So in other words, you're distracting the bouncer so you can get in the club. And I thought, wow, that's brilliant. The mind that's saying, oh, that's not true, I don't believe that. Yeah, it'll be nice, but please, give me a break, is engaged otherwise. So while the bouncer is looking that way, the affirmations get into the subconscious. How do I do that? Well, there's this binaural space, there's the stereo. You got a left channel and a right channel, and when you separate them, you listen through headphones. When you feed the right ear and you feed the left ear, and then when you feed both ears at the same time, you create 3 different spaces, left, right, and center. And not only that, you can make the sound travel from the left to right, from left, center, right, right, center, left. And you can do it in all kinds of combinations. So I thought, wow, if I can put affirmations in there and have the critical mind follow these affirmations around, it's engaged, it's busy. And if I throw 3 at a time, because there are 3 spaces, left, right, and center, and I play around with them traveling and ask the critical mind to follow them, whichever one the critical mind is following, it might be judging, but the other 2 are getting in no matter what. And who's hearing it is the subconscious. So you're impressing the subconscious with affirmations, while at the same time, you're training your critical mind to use its focus of attention sharply. You're also expanding your imagination, because one of the exercises that I found is imagining the traveling, around your head. So when the affirmations are traveling from left to right, the first feeling is that the center space is right in the middle of your forehead, where your third eye would be. And your left and right are right by your ears. So it feels like the sound is traveling up and around from one ear to the other. But if you imagine it traveling straight across, it very quickly you start to hear it traveling straight across. And then you can also imagine it traveling under your chin. And by doing that, you start creating, expanding your imagination. You start focusing attention and expanding imagination. It's a really simple exercise, but it's extremely effective.